Imagine for a moment that the most powerful tool for living a fulfilling and meaningful life is not something you can buy, earn, or get from others, but that it is already within you, waiting to be discovered and used. Become. This is not just a thought experiment, it is a reality based on the wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that has guided countless people over the centuries to lives of purpose, resilience, and calm. Stoicism teaches us that the key to a life well lived lies not in external praise or material success, but through mastering the art of valuing ourselves through the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. It is a powerful reminder that despite the chaos and challenges of the outside world, we keep within us the indestructible foundation of our own well-being and happiness. We peel back the layers of societal expectations and self-doubt to discover timeless Stoic principles that can transform the way we see ourselves and our place in the world. This journey is more than just self-improvement. It's about rediscovering our inherent value and learning to live in alignment with our deepest values. So if you are ready to open the doors to personal freedom, resilience, and fulfillment, then you are in the right place. Let's embark on this adventure together and explore how the wisdom of Stoicism can light our way to appreciate ourselves like never before. Are you here? Consider yourself different from the majority. Consider yourself an exception. Now act like an exception and don't skip any part of the content. Sign number 1, accepting less than you deserve. It's something we've all been guilty of at one point or another, right? Whether it's sticking around in a job that drains the life out of us, staying in relationships that don't uplift us, or not chasing after the dreams we hold dear because we're scared. We settle, we compromise, we tell ourselves, this is as good as it gets. But why do we do that? Is it fear? Is it comfort? Or maybe it's a bit of both. Stoicism teaches us that our true worth, our essence, isn't swayed by these external circumstances. Whether you're in a palace or a prison, Stoicism tells us that what truly defines us is not our situation, but how we respond to it. It's about recognizing that while we may not have control over every aspect of our lives, we do have ultimate power over our own perceptions, judgments, and actions. Think about it. When we accept less than we deserve, isn't that what we're essentially saying? External circumstances have more power over us than we do. Stoicism invites us to question this idea. Is not Stoicism. Not only does it leave us in a state of despair, no, it strengthens us. Says, look, you have the power to change your perception, choose your reaction, and thereby change your reality so that you accept. If you find yourself accepting less than you deserve, think about it. This wisdom. Stoics remember that your worth is not determined by your job, by your marital status, or the size of your bank account. Your worth is determined by your ability to stay true to and act on your values, courage, wisdom, and integrity. No matter the circumstances, this is not about blaming ourselves for our situations, but rather to empower ourselves to recognize the control we have. Let us not settle for less, not because we are entitled or arrogant, but because we recognize our inherent worth. Let us respond to life's challenges with the strength and resilience that comes from knowing who we are and what we stand for. And when we do, we not only live but thrive in a truly Stoic way. Stoicism, with its deep understanding, human nature does not encourage us to boast or inflate our egos, but encourages us to a fair and honest recognition of our own efforts and virtues. Sign number 2. Minimize your achievements. Why isn't acknowledging our successes about nurturing our pride, values? Let's delve a little into Stoicism. Virtues such as wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance are central when achieving anything, no matter how big or small it is. Often it is because you have practiced these virtues. Maybe it was courage to apply for it. If you attribute your success to luck or dismiss it as something that anyone could do, you are not only underestimating the result, but you are also underestimating your virtues to practice to get. How can we change this mindset? How do we begin to recognize our achievements without falling into arrogance? The Stoic approach is about balance and honesty. It's about saying, yes, I worked hard for this. Yes, I faced challenges and I overcame them. And yes, that. Success is a reflection of my commitment and my virtues. It's about giving yourself credit where credit is due, not for the sake of your ego, but for the sake of the truth. Now, I want you to think about something you recently accomplished. No matter how big or small, remember the virtues you practiced to achieve it. Perhaps you have demonstrated incredible discipline. Maybe you've taken a bold step out of your comfort zone, or perhaps you have used your wisdom to solve a problem, whatever it may be. Take a moment to recognize it. Recognize the virtues behind the achievement. This practice is not about patting yourself on the back, but about recognizing the truth of your own character, and the effort to embrace this Stoic practice can change the way, and changing the way we view our successes and ourselves leads us away from false modesty and towards a true appreciation of our own strengths and abilities. It teaches us that recognizing our successes is not about ego, but about recognizing the virtues we have embodied and the hard work we have done. Is a common scenario, right? Whether you're staying late at work to help a colleague, skipping your morning run to make breakfast for your family, or putting your own dreams on hold to support someone else, feels noble, selfless, and sometimes even heroically. But here's the twist. Constantly favoring others at the expense of your own well-being can lead to burnout. Sign number 3. Prioritizing others' needs. Over your own resentment and a loss of self. It's like trying to fill cups from an empty pitcher. Eventually you run out. Stoicism isn't about being detached or selfish. In fact, it places great emphasis on virtue and the betterment of society. However, it also teaches us the critical importance of self-care. Why? Because caring for oneself isn't selfish. It's the foundation of being able to care for others. Effectively, Stoicism reminds us that to be of service to others, we must first ensure that we are in a good place ourselves, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Let's unpack this a bit. Stoicism teaches us about the dichotomy of control, understanding what is within our control and what isn't, our own thoughts, beliefs, actions. And yes, self-care is within our control, the well-being of others, as much as we desire it. Otherwise is not directly under our control. What we can control, however, is how well equipped we are to offer help, support, and love to those who care for us. And that starts with taking care of ourselves. Think about it this way: when you are rested, healthy, and at peace, the more patient, understanding, and present you are for the people in your life, the more effectively you can contribute to their well-being. It's not just about physical health. It's also about mental and emotional resilience. It's about having the inner resources to be compassionate, give wise advice, and be a source of stability and strength for others. How do we achieve this balance? How do we do this? We make sure we don't neglect our own needs while helping others. Begins with the realization that self-care is not a luxury or an afterthought, is a necessity. This means spending time doing things that rejuvenate us, be it practicing meditation, reading, or just spending a few quiet moments alone. Means setting boundaries and being okay with saying no when we need. And it means doing these things not out of pleasure, but out of a commitment to being the best for the people we are, be who we are. Care. I want to challenge myself. and think about how you can prioritize your own well-being this week. Maybe it's about taking a daily walk, making time for a hobby you love, or setting limits on your work hours. Whatever it is, remember that this act of self-care is not just for you, but is a way to ensure that when you present yourself to others, you present yourself as the best version of yourself. Stoicism teaches us how important it is to see ourselves objectively. Sign number 4, struggling to accept compliments. This means recognizing and acknowledging our strengths just as openly as we acknowledge our areas for improvement. It's about understanding our value, not in an egotistical way, but in a balanced and fair manner. Why do we struggle with accepting compliments often? It's because we're viewing ourselves through a distorted lens. We might be focusing too much on our imperfections, or perhaps we're conditioned to believe that acknowledging our strengths somehow makes us arrogant. But here's a Stoic perspective to consider. Humility is not about denying our strengths. It's about recognizing them in a grounded, and realism is about seeing ourselves as we really are, without the shackles of ego or the shadow of insecurity. Stoicism teaches us that our value is not diminished by acknowledging our successes and strengths. In fact, accepting compliments with grace is a way of practicing self-awareness, and objectivity allows us to recognize the virtues we possess and the efforts we have made, giving us a clearer understanding of our true selves. When someone pays us a compliment, they often recognize something real in us, something valuable. Praise, by dismissing these moments, deprives us of the opportunity to see ourselves through the eyes of others, to understand the impact we have on the world around us. So how can we get better at accepting compliments? Begins with us adjusting our mindset. When someone gives you praise, a mirror, live up to your virtues and efforts rather than distracting from them. Take a moment to consider the truth in their words. You can practice simply saying thank you without downplaying, without distracting. Just gratitude for the recognition of your efforts and qualities. Furthermore, Stoicism encourages us to use these moments as opportunities for reflection. Ask yourself, what I have done to deserve this praise, as it reflects my virtues and efforts. It's not about feeding your ego. It's about understanding and acknowledging the part of you that is capable of excellence and impact. Have you ever been faced with a perhaps seemingly simple decision, but found yourself paralyzed, unable to decide? That hesitation, that fear, that making the wrong decision is more than just indecision. It is the reflection of a deeper problem, a lack of self-confidence. It is as if we were standing on the edge of a diving board, looking at the pool below, knowing that we must jump. But unable to take the plunge, Stoicism offers a flashlight in this fog of indecision. Sign number 5, avoiding decision-making. It teaches us that the essence of wise decision-making lies not in guaranteeing outcomes, but in basing our choices on wisdom and reason. Stoicism reminds us that while we cannot control the outcome of our decisions, we have complete control over the process of making those decisions. It's about aligning our choices with our values, acting with integrity, and accepting the outcomes, whatever they may be, as part of the natural flow of life. Why do we fear making decisions? Often it's because we're afraid of making the wrong choice, leading to outcomes we perceive as failures or mistakes. However, Stoicism invites us to reframe our understanding of mistakes and failures in the Stoic view. Every outcome is an opportunity for learning and growth. There are no failures, only lessons. This perspective encourages us to trust ourselves, to make decisions with courage and confidence, knowing that whatever the result, it will contribute to our development and understanding. But how do we cultivate this trust in ourselves? How do we strengthen our decision-making muscles, so to speak? It begins with embracing wisdom and reason before making a decision. Take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, is this choice based on my values? Am I acting with integrity? Base their decisions on their core values and reasons. It ensures that this is the case regardless of the outcome. In A, his choice was made with the best intentions and understanding he had at the time. Moment Stoicism teaches us the importance of accepting and learning from the results of our decisions. Every result, whether we expected it or not, contains valuable insights. Is an invitation to reflect, to understand what worked, what didn't work, and how we can apply these lessons in this reflection and learning process promotes self-confidence and ensures our ability to follow through to navigate the uncertain waters of life by making choices that reflect our values and grow from every experience. Stoicism teaches us the art of discernment, particularly about where we direct our mental energy, tells us that obsessing over our mistakes and failures and taking self-importance for every perceived misstep is like trying to steer a ship while ignoring the wind and tides. We focus on the wrong things. Stoic wisdom asks us to recognize that perfection is an illusion and an unattainable mirage. The goal instead is continuous progress and conscious steps. Sign number 6. Excessive self-criticism towards becoming better versions of ourselves. Why do we fall into this trap of excessive self-criticism? Often it's because we're measuring ourselves against impossible standards, ones that we wouldn't dream of holding anyone else to. We forget that being human inherently means being flawed, making mistakes, and most importantly, having the capacity to learn and grow from them. Stoicism offers a powerful antidote to this self-imposed tyranny, the practice of self-compassion and the pursuit of progress over perfection. Self-compassion from a Stoic viewpoint isn't about cuddling ourselves or making excuses for our shortcomings. It's about treating ourselves with the same kindness, understanding and forgiveness that we would offer to a good friend. It's recognizing that setbacks are not indictments of our character, but part of the human experience. When we stumble, the Stoic response isn't to berate ourselves, but to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow? Embracing this mindset requires a shift in how we perceive our journey. Every effort, every attempt, even those that do not produce the results we expected, is progress, not perfection, becomes our mantra. This does not mean that we are complacent or indifferent towards improvements, as opposed to this means we pursue growth more passionately, but with the wisdom to know that growth is often non-linear, is fraught with challenges and wonderfully imperfect. Why it's so easy to fall into the comparison trap is partly due to human nature. We have an innate tendency to bombard ourselves with snapshots of other people's lives that only seem to show the peaks, never the valleys that make us question the value and importance of our own experiences. Stoicism offers these malaise a powerful antidote. Cultivating self-awareness and gratitude for our own journey encourages us to turn our gaze inward. We focus on our virtues of personal growth and the progress we have made. Stoicism does not advocate isolation or indifference to others, but rather promotes the idea of inspiration rather than comparison. He teaches us to admire the virtues and achievements of others without diminishing our own worth or progress. How can we do that? Apply Stoically principles to combat the comparison trap, first by practicing mindfulness and catching ourselves when we start comparing our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. It's about reminding ourselves that social media is a curated gallery, not an accurate reflection of everyday life. Second, Stoicism teaches us the value of focusing on what's within our control, our efforts, our attitudes, our virtues. These are the seeds from which our unique journey grows. By concentrating on nurturing these seeds, we cultivate a garden that's rich with personal significance, independent of external validation or comparison. Lastly, gratitude plays a pivotal role. By fostering gratitude for our own experiences, challenges, and achievements, we anchor ourselves in the present and appreciate the richness of our own lives. This doesn't mean we become complacent, but it does empower us to strive to improve and grow from a state of contentment rather than inadequacy. Have you ever found yourself wanting the direction that you wanted to pursue but put off the hobby you wanted to start, or even neglecting your self-care routine is something many of us are guilty of? It's not just a matter of not having enough time or resources. At its core, it's often about not recognizing our own worth. It's like we're telling ourselves, "I'm not worth the effort." But here's the thing. Stoicism, with its deep insights into human nature and ethics, challenges us to see self-improvement as more than just one activity, but rather as a form of self-respect. Stoicism teaches us that our capacity for reason and virtue is what sets us apart, and that it is through their cultivation that we find true fulfillment. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher, compared life to a garden, just as a garden requires constant care to thrive. Our inner world also requires attention and care. Neglecting our personal growth is akin to neglecting a garden without investment. Neither will thrive. But why do we often hesitate to invest in ourselves? Sometimes it is because we are caught in the trap of immediate gratification and prefer fleeting pleasures to long-term satisfaction. Other times it is because of a deeper problem, lack of self-esteem, or the belief that we are not worthy afterward. However, Stoicism provides a counter-narrative that asserts that each individual has inherent value and potential for virtue. Investing in our growth, whether through learning new skills, exploring hobbies, or practicing self-care, is evidence of recognizing and honoring this value. How then can we start to make that investment in ourselves in line with Stoic philosophy? It begins with shifting our mindset. We need to start seeing self-improvement as an essential, non-negotiable aspect of our lives. This doesn't mean overhauling our lives overnight. Instead, it's about making small, consistent investments in ourselves. It could be as simple as reading a book on a topic that fascinates us, dedicating a few minutes each day to meditation, or taking up a hobby that brings us joy. Moreover, Stoicism teaches us about the importance of reflection and self-examination. This practice allows us to understand our strengths and areas for growth, guiding our personal investment efforts by regularly taking stock of our lives. By setting goals and reflecting on our progress, we foster a sense of purpose and direction. This process of self-reflection and goal setting is not just about achieving external indicators of success. It is about aligning our actions with our values and cultivating our virtues and a life full of meaning. Another important aspect is the adoption of the concept of lifelong learning. The Stoics believed that wisdom was not a destination but a journey. Adopting a mindset of curiosity and openness to new experiences can change the way we are. See personal investments not as a task, but as an adventure, as an opportunity to explore the vast landscapes of knowledge and experiences, to explore what life has to offer. True affirmation comes from within when we live in harmony with our values and principles. The Stoics believed that the only things truly under our control are our own actions, intentions, and reactions. Marcus Aurelius eloquently reminded us that it is not the opinions of others that trouble us, but our own judgments about those opinions, why we find ourselves. The pursuit of external validation at our core is often rooted in insecurity and a deep-rooted fear from not being enough. In a world that constantly bombards us with messages about what we should do or have, it is easy to lose sight of our own path. But Stoicism invites us to look inwards, to focus on cultivating our character and living a virtuous life. He teaches us that true peace and fulfillment come not from the fleeting and fickle approval of others, but from the knowledge that we have been true to ourselves. How can we free ourselves from the chains of external validation? The first step is self-awareness. By becoming mindful of our tendencies to seek approval, we can start to question the motives behind our actions. Are we pursuing a goal because it aligns with our values, or because we're seeking applause? Stoicism teaches us to engage in regular self-reflection, to examine our intentions and ensure they're rooted in our own values and principles. Another Stoic practice that can help us combat the need for external validation is the development of self-sufficiency. This doesn't mean isolating ourselves or becoming indifferent to others. Rather, it's about finding contentment and fulfillment within ourselves, recognizing that we are complete as we are. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, emphasized the importance of focusing on what's within our control, and when we let go of what is not there by cultivating inner contentment, we become less dependent on external sources of validation. Stoicism also encourages us to redefine our concept of success, rather than measuring success by external praise or success. Stoicism teaches us to measure our ability to live in accordance with our values. Success from a Stoic perspective is about the pursuit of virtue, the exercise of reason, and the cultivation of resilience in the face of life's challenges. Is as if we were in a dense forest where the air is heavy. The path is unclear and every step feels like a struggle. Be it a toxic workplace that drains our spirit or personal relationships that make us feel undervalued, the decision to stay often arises from the deep-rooted belief that we deserve nothing better. But here, Stoicism offers us a mirror and a map. The Stoics believed that our environment can significantly influence our ability to live virtuously and find contentment. However, they also emphasized our responsibility in shaping our environment and choosing our clubs wisely. Marcus Aurelius remembers, "We know that our inner peace is determined not by our external circumstances, but by our reactions to them." Why do we often tolerate negative environments? This is because we underestimate our ability to change. We might fear the unknown, clinging to the familiar, or doubting our worth. Stoicism challenges these fears and doubts by encouraging us to recognize our inherent worth and the power we possess. Over our choices and attitudes, it urges us to question the belief that we are trapped and to realize that more often than not, we have the agency to change our circumstances or our perception of them. Stoicism offers us tools to navigate and transform our environments. One key Stoic practice is the cultivation of inner resilience and autonomy. This doesn't mean adopting a stance of indifference or detachment. Rather, it's about strengthening our inner citadel, as Marcus Aurelius calls it, so that we can remain steady and true to our values, even in the midst of chaos and negativity. By fostering a strong inner core, we become less susceptible to the toxicity of our surroundings and more capable of making choices that are in harmony with our well-being. Another Stoic principle that can guide us is the idea of living in harmony with nature, which includes striving for harmony within ourselves and our environment, that is, actively seeking environments to seek or create those that are conducive to our growth, our health, and our happiness. It's about recognizing that we deserve respect, kindness, and positive interactions, and making the conscious decision not to settle for less in practice. Finding environments that encourage our growth can include setting boundaries in personal relationships, means seeking new opportunities in our careers, or even changing our social circles to include more support and positive influences. Also means investing time and energy in cultivating a personal environment through practices such as meditation. Keep a journal or engage in hobbies that support our mental and emotional well-being. Why is their fear have that much impact? They often catch us out because we are fully aware of what we have to lose. Our minds paint vivid pictures of the failure, of the wasted time and effort of judgment we might face from others. Stoicism recognizes these fears, but invites us to question ourselves. "We can gain" encourages us to weigh our fears against the potential for growth, fulfillment, and the realization of our dreams. Stoicism teaches us that the pursuit of the virtue of excellence in harmony with our nature is in itself a worthwhile endeavor, regardless of one of the Stoic practices that can help us overcome the fear of achieving our dreams, the willfulness of evil, or what is now known as negative visualization. This is about thinking about the worst scenarios, not to insist on them, but to reduce them, his power over us when it comes to possible difficulties, and accepting that we can endure them. We often find that our fears are less daunting than we imagined. This doesn't mean we become reckless or heed less of risks, but rather that we approach our dreams with a balanced perspective, recognizing that failure, while possible, is not the end but a step in our journey of growth. Another Stoic principle that can embolden us to chase our dreams is the concept of amor fati, or the love of fate. This is the idea of embracing whatever life throws our way, not just with resignation but with enthusiasm. When we pursue our dreams, guided by amor fati, we open ourselves up to the full spectrum of experiences, successes, failures, joys and disappointments, all of which are integral to the human experience. This acceptance frees us from the paralyzing grip of fear and allows us to move forward with courage and determination. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of acting in accordance with our own virtues and potential. He reminds us that our true worth is measured not by external successes, but by our commitment to live virtuously and strive to achieve our goals with integrity, hard work, and courage. In this view, the fear of the realization of our dreams is not only an obstacle to success, but also an obstacle to living a life that is truly our why. While we so often forget this fundamental Stoic lesson, part of the reason lies in our natural desire for connection and validation, which, if left unchecked, can lead us to seek our worth in others' opinions or milestone, to reflect our success, achieve. However, Stoicism teaches us that true value comes from within when we live in harmony with our nature and our virtues. Epictetus eloquently explained that freedom is achieved not by fulfilling our heart's desire, but by eliminating our desire. This principle applies profoundly to the way we realize our true worth. Freedom and contentment do not come from external confirmation, but from the recognition and acceptance of our inner worth. Stoicism encourages us to shift our focus from external achievements to the cultivation of our character. Our character teaches us that our worth is measured not by the titles we possess, the wealth we accumulate, or the recognition we deserve, but by our commitment to live virtuously and with integrity, kindness, and courage to act, regardless of our circumstances, does not mean success and recognition don't matter, but rather that they are not the source of our worth. Our worth is innate, as immutable as the stars in the night sky, and recognizing this frees us from the relentless pursuit of external validation. How can we cultivate this Stoic understanding of our inherent worth? It begins with self-reflection, with turning our gaze inward to acknowledge and appreciate our virtues, our efforts, and our resilience. It involves practicing gratitude for our abilities, our character, and our potential, recognizing that these internal qualities are the true measures of our worth. It also means learning to detach our sense of value from the fluctuating opinions of others and the transient nature of achievements. This detachment isn't about indifference, it's about perspective, about understanding what truly matters in the grand scheme of our lives. This feeling can stem from a variety of sources: past traumas, societal conditioning, or personal failures. We compare our journey to others, seeing only the highlight reels of their lives, while being acutely aware of the behind the scenes of our own. This comparison fueled by the misconception that happiness is a finite resource, awarded only to the deserving, leads us to doubt our worthiness. Stoicism encourages us to dismantle these misconceptions and to recognize that happiness is not a reward, but a way of living. It invites us to reflect on our values, to align our actions with these values, and to find joy in the pursuit of virtue and the practice of reason. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, actions, and reactions, and to let go of what isn't. This perspective empowers us to take charge of our happiness, to create it through our daily choices and attitudes. How can we embrace this Stoic approach to happiness? It starts with changing our narrative about worthiness. We must challenge the belief that happiness is conditional on achievements, external validation, or perfection. Instead, we should view happiness as inherent in the practice of living virtuously, in making the best choices available to us, and in appreciating the present moment. Additionally, Stoicism teaches the importance of gratitude. By practicing gratitude, we shift our focus from what we lack to what we have, from perceived inadequacies to the abundance present in our lives. This shift in perspective is crucial in feeling deserving of happiness, as it allows us to see the beauty, opportunity, and potential in our everyday lives. Stoicism reminds us of the significance of community and support. Happiness is not a solitary journey. By fostering meaningful relationships, by supporting and being supported, we recognize that our worthiness of happiness is affirmed, not just by ourselves, but by the collective wisdom and love of those around us. As we journey together through the wisdom of Stoicism, let us carry with us the understanding that our lives are canvases upon which we have the power to paint, with the vibrant colors of virtue, resilience, and happiness. Remember, you are the architect of your own destiny, the sculptor of your own happiness. The path may be strewn with challenges, but it is also lined with the potential for immense growth, joy, and fulfillment. You are deserving of happiness, capable of achieving your dreams, and worthy of every bit of love and success that comes your way. I encourage you to watch